To Maastricht School of Management's graduation ceremony of 2021. You made it. It's my honor to be your master of ceremony today at this important event, which marks the transition of our guests of honor, you, from students to alumni. Now, despite the fact that we've had to make some changes this year to the setup of the graduation ceremony due to Corona, we are going to do our best to make this day memorable. When teaching, I said that the online experience was not worse than the in-person experience, just different. And so we don't want to say that this is going to be just different. It's still a special day and a milestone you've all reached. My name is Oliver Olson, and as most of you sitting there know, I'm a faculty member in strategy and marketing here at MSM, and I also think I'm one of the few teachers who've had the honor to be able to teach all of you in person, in spite of the pandemic. Some of you before the pandemic started, many of you after, and the various lockdowns. So it's nice to see you all again. I've had the pleasure to spend time with most of you, and it's an honor to be able to spend this time today at your graduation ceremony. Now, the longest speech that I get to give today is not about marketing or strategy, but about housekeeping rules for today's graduation ceremony, and especially our pandemic and Corona measures. So please pay attention. This isn't quite the same as a minute paper or a test and pre-reading, but it is quite vital for today's ceremony. So in everything we do, we still have to remember and follow our COVID-19 general safety guidelines. In short, that means we have to follow hygienic rules, and this is one of the hardest ones on graduation day. Do not shake hands. Do not hug. At least not here on campus, please. We also kindly ask you to follow staff directions very closely and wear face masks. Wear especially the beautiful MSM branded face masks. Anywhere in the corridors while you're sitting, it's fine to take them off, although you're welcome to keep them on for good advertising. You should have received these nice face masks and use them whenever you can, especially as you go away today. It's great branding of your affiliation with this wonderful brand. As a marketing professor, branding is important. We do invite you to not turn off your phones, but silence them. We've gotten used to the phone being a companion. It's been an important companion through your studies, and we ask you not to use it for Facebooking or Instagramming, but at least you can write some messages. Use the hashtag. We have our hashtags active today for MSM Graduation 2021. Actually, let me get that correctly. Hashtags are important. Hashtag MSM Graduation 21. So please, you're welcome to take pictures, send them out, spread the word of this wonderful day, especially since your friends and family can't be here in person. And please, as often as you can, use the hashtag MSM Graduation 21, and also tag us at Maastricht School of Management. Now, as far as taking photos, you don't need to use your phones for those today. We have much better photographs. You see, we have a camera person back there. We have professional photographers that will be taking photographs. And as a result, you can stay seated and enjoy the ceremony without needing to take pictures. The official photos will be shared after the event, and you can even go back in previous years and see that we share hundreds of photos. Everything that's taken today will be made available to you freely. We also have a video which is being made, and not only is this being streamed live on YouTube, hi mom, dad, friends, family, it's also being recorded, so we will have a video recording of the event. You can find the link on the MSM website afterwards, and then again, you can tweet it out to your family and friends, hashtag MSM Graduation 21. So both photos and video will be made available after the ceremony. Now, in case of emergency, please be aware of where your exits are right now. You see one exit here, as well as the two that you entered in the back of the room. We haven't flown in a while, but we need to get reacquainted with these safety measures. On the balcony, there's also doors up there for our staff in case there's an emergency. Now, at the end of today's ceremony, it's not the end of our celebrations. We will be inviting you into our restaurant for some drinks and some networking without handshakes or hugs. And you're invited to join us in the restaurant. So please note that this is a seated event, so it's just for you that are here in the room, unfortunately, today. Now, I'd also like to welcome everyone again who's joining us via the live stream. We know that many of you are disappointed that you couldn't be here in person. we are too. We know that family, some of you have family that have traveled from different parts of the world to hopefully be here with you. They will be able to join you after today's ceremony, but thank you for joining us online. Now, I also want to give a special word of thanks to our faculty. One of the most important points of our graduation ceremony is not only the students that join us each year, but also the faculty and the faculty procession. And the faculty are also extremely disappointed that they cannot be here due to the COVID-19 measures. But I do want to give a special shout out to all of them who are watching on the live stream right now. And I want you to all to remember your favorite faculty, maybe not even your favorite faculty, the ones you learn the most from. Those aren't always the same. But remember all the faculty who the entire reason they're here is because of a day like this. And so they send their regrets at our faculty meeting this week. They said, please make sure the students know that we wish we could be there with you. So I wanted to give that special shout out to the faculty who cannot be here with us today. Now I'd like to introduce the Dean of MSM, Mr. Meinhard. As a quick summary of Mr. Meinhard. He's a longtime member of the management board of MSM, a long-time member. Now, initially in capacity of Director of International Project Operations and Consultancies, and currently in the capacity of Chief Executive and Dean ad interim. He's an economist and a chartered accountant by background. However, he's mainly been involved in MSM's project operations, one of our most successful long-running operational parts of MSM. He has a track record of project work in around 50 countries, in numerous assignments, working for higher education sector, government, and the business community. Throughout his long tenure at MSM, he's been involved in the development and startup of many of MSM's landmark programs. Some of the programs that we'll see graduates from here later today are instrumental, Mr. Gantz, in starting these programs. He including the MBA, the Global MBA Series, the Executive Education Programs, and MSM's International Project Operations. As of mid-2019, Mr. Gantz is on interim basis working in the capacity of Dean. And I would like to welcome Mr. Gantz to the podium now. Thank you.
Thanks, Oliver. What else to say after this introduction? No hugging, no handshaking, and no kissing. I guess that was part of the routine as well. Okay, great to be here. It's really special. Normally on a day like this, we have a packed audience. It's full. Usually we use a bigger audience even, so it's great to have this limited group here, to see all of you here at this special day. So for a start, okay, I realize we have a number of guests, partners, family of course, from you also that are online via live stream. A number of colleagues, unfortunately also live stream. They're 15, 20 meters away from here, but this is a reality. Welcome to all of them, but especially of course to you as these students, welcome to you. This is your day, your special day and the end of your study. So special welcome to you all in the audience here, and I suppose also some via live stream. In capacity of Dean of Maastricht School of Management, it's a privilege to be here on behalf of all my colleagues, of course, also to participate in the graduation ceremony, unfortunately due to circumstances in a different setup as we anticipated and as we would have wished. Normally, I'm starting this kind of address by saying that this is the closing of your study program, which is effectively is, of course. It's a special moment, it's a milestone. You've achieved it due to your perseverance and your commitment. It's all true, of course. There's nothing to discredit that. But the past period, the past 2 years almost now, has been a roller coaster year, different to anything that we have experienced in life so far. And a period that really has complicated all our lives, but in particular also your life as a student at MSM. I think most of you started the program about 1 year ago, a bit more than a year ago, under the COVID conditions already, that were going up and down from a full lockdown to a partial lockdown to an opening up, and in a typically Dutch fashion, I guess, to a partial lockdown again. Some of you, I think the Executive MBA started before the COVID pandemic started. But anyhow, all of you have had to deal with the program implementation, with your study program under these COVID conditions. This period, 2021, and actually also 2020, of course, is one of those moments in time that mark a change in the global world order. It's a difference that eventually will show up in the history books for our kids and our grandchildren. Eventually they'll read about it in 50 years from now. 2020 and 21 really being different. The certainties that we have in life, how things work, how things are organized, what effective leadership is, effective management, it all has changed over the past years. Change is surrounding us, in general, of course related also to the pandemic. It's largely unpredictable, disruptive so far, and for you as future business leaders and managers, you happen to be in the middle of it, in the eye of the storm, so to say. As such, you will be the generation of leaders that didn't cause the change as such. However, you will be the group that is facing the consequence of it. What is required for that is adequate leadership, of course, competencies, skills, however, also value systems to guide you, and entrepreneurial spirit to drive you in order to be effective as a leader. Many of these issues in a drastically changing society are not yet in the textbooks nor in the case studies, but I hope that our master programs and our faculty teams as such and our staff have provided you with core assets to assist you in unlocking your leadership potential. For you, this ceremony ends an intensive period of study and personal development. It came with many sacrifices in personal life, in family life. We realize that. The added complications studying under the COVID conditions and the resourcefulness and stamina required for that, and in particular also for our international student community, and that's a big part of our community, of course. Being in a lockdown here in the Netherlands, in some way a strange country, to be away from your family and friends, probably also being in lockdown locally, created all kinds of uncertainties for you, and this really made it a complicated situation. We realize that. There has been a learning journey in all kinds of ways, developing your competencies, your skills inside and outside the classroom, through the regular teaching process by our faculty, like Oliver, as he mentioned, and so many of the other faculty, of course. However, importantly, also a mutual learning through your fellow classmates, your fellow students. It also has been a global learning journey with so many nationalities and culture in one building, in one facility. The multicultural dimension may have complicated your learning process in a way. However, we hope that in the end, it has made it a unique and a rewarding experience that will benefit you for life as a global citizen. For our team MSM, this ceremony marks the end of our intensive relation with you, the participants. We have been providing, of course, our educational inputs, some counseling, guidance, occasionally where needed some disciplining, trying to provide some comfort and encouragement, and in a way, trying to act as a surrogate family to you. Altogether, we have been trying to share the learning journey with you in all kinds of ways, and this process is also coming to us to an end. We trust that MSM once more, and this time under challenging conditions, has graduated a cohort of students that will become part of the new generation of leaders able to face the new, uncharted leadership challenges that are ahead of you. Let me congratulate you with reaching the end of your study and your graduation today, and for the record express on behalf of the whole MSM organization our deep respect to you for this extraordinary achievement. I wish you every success in your life, personal, family-wise, career-wise, after completing this learning journey. I also want to express my sincere thanks to the MSM academic community and the support teams in MSM, and want to pay tribute to their outstanding performance in delivering this program. For you, as alumni now, stay in touch, and as MSM ambassadors, indeed, share our brand with the rest of the world, and in particular, stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Meinhard. Now, one of the hallmarks of the MSM graduation experience is wonderful guest speakers from around the world, and today is no different. Even with the COVID measures and limitations, we're honored to have our first guest speaker join us. Will join us from a recorded video today, unfortunately. He would have loved to have been here in person. But our guest speaker today is Dr. Desai, who is the Principal Secretary for the East African Community, and he served in the same capacity at the State Department for Vocational and Technical Training. He's the chairman of the Social and Political Pillar of the Vision 2030 Board Committee, and a trustee of Kennett Board of Trustees. Dr. Desai is also the chairman of the Permanent Working Group on TVET in Kenya. He's championing the private sector, TVET, which is vocational education and training, government and development partner linkages towards transformation of Kenya's technical and vocational training platform. In addition to all that, he's the founder of Centurion Systems Limited and is also the founding chairman of Linking Industry with Academia, an organization for doing just that. Dr. Desai holds a PhD in robotics and system engineering. Here is our address from Dr. Desai.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to congratulate you all, and indeed especially the graduates today of the Maastricht School of Management, for their achievement and their resilience in developing their educational skills. And indeed, over the last 70 years, you're part of that evolution of the Maastricht School of Management, but most importantly, the impact that Maastricht makes. And it's through you, as outcomes of Maastricht School of Management, that we see a tremendous opportunity and possibility. The areas, too, within the context of what you've gained by way of your formal education, the necessary tools with respect to skills, education, research, are relevant towards finding ways in which you not only achieve a greater engagement with life, an enhanced livelihood, but most importantly, your contribution towards global affairs and the possibility of transformation and innovation. And indeed, this is very exciting. It's also exciting that you've, over the last few years of your education, that you've been in close contact with some of the most transformative and development agendas within the Maastricht School of Management. For instance, this focus on climate smart agriculture, one of the key areas that the School of Management is focusing on, is a very relevant capacity which promotes solutions at this particular time, not only for food security, but also the challenges faced with respect to global warming. And that considerable capacity with respect to looking at education from a holistic perspective is an area that you, I'm sure, are fully encouraged and will make an impact as you move forward. There's also some of the areas including sustainable finance, which is needed within the context of promoting greater inclusive development throughout the world. How do we ensure that finance is accessible in an equitable way for all, so that they're able to turn their ideas and their business acumen and their energy into a value proposition, a return value proposition for their livelihoods, for their development, and most importantly, for them to contribute into an economy and possibly fulfill all expectations with respect to productivity, innovation, and efficiency. The areas with respect to and the ongoing work that the Maastricht School of Management is doing with respect to the industrial policy design and the triple helix model, while over the last decades we've seen a growing interest with respect to enhancing productivity, innovation, and efficiency, we see that the triple helix concept of Maastricht has the most formidable and potential role with respect to finding ways in which we can create the necessary linkages for transformation. From a Kenyan perspective, we've seen this firsthand with the support of the Maastricht School of Management by way of their support to an institutional capacity with regards to an institution called LIWA, Linking Industry with Academia. But we've also seen the incredible movement that this has achieved by way of a greater consensus and awareness of why it's absolutely necessary to create a link and create the necessary structures and capacities and frameworks in order to promote a collective engagement between the academic sector, the industrial sector, and the government. It's with the view of forming an ecosystem that is supportive and that promotes synergy and efficiency. And so all of this would touch you in many ways and be with you as you engage the industrial or the commercial world. And it's within this context that even as you graduate today, with this very solid foundation, that you realize that you're part of a research community, a community within the Maastricht School of Management that will support you within the context of your endeavors into the future. And therefore, it's up to you to enrich this relationship as you leave today and to ensure that you're able to be part and participatory of its further development and to benefit from this community capacity as you go along, trying to find solutions and innovations into the future. Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, these are trying times. COVID-19 has, in a formidable way, changed our lives. There's a lot more fragmentation in all areas of activities. Within the context of Kenya, we've seen a tremendous fragmentation, for example, within the context of the industry, the traders, the logistics systems, the transport systems. This has greatly increased the overall cost of transport and time taken for transportation of logistics, thereby creating a huge impact in terms of the cost and the burden of transport to the overall development challenges. If we see within the context of a particular sector like agriculture, 60% of the costs are related to transportation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that innovation is required. And it's through your management degrees and that knowledge and skills that you have developed, we're hoping that you'll be able to find solutions with respect to finding ways in which we promote the necessary synergy, the link. Increasingly through COVID-19, we've seen the fragmentation has isolated sectors and has introverted them because of the uncertain times. And it's for this reason new models and capacities and structures will need to be established. And I think that indeed this is part of the excitement of your graduation today, that while there are challenges with respect to the fragmentation, the imbalances with respect to global challenges, the gaps between the rich and the poor, which has created a divide amongst us. And I think that indeed the greater equity and the potential of inclusive development as well as resilience is an issue of a global magnitude. And I believe that indeed here too, within the context of your education, your research and your onward engagement in life, you'll be able to create many of these solutions that are much needed to promote that cohesiveness with respect to the social and economic and the environment. And this is very much wanted, a major challenge within the context of how we're able to address problems into the future. And there are lots of possibilities that we will need to once again relook at systems like ecosystems from a very foundational perspective. And what I mean, ladies and gentlemen, is that indeed as we pursue and develop solutions within this context, we need three issues to come to mind. The first indeed is the ability for young people who are now full of energy, creativity, curiosity, like yourselves, to redefine the ecosystem that'll be a sustainable outcome and promote the highest level of inclusive development. And this means that from a business perspective, your objective of being involved in addressing issues with respect to productivity, innovation, and efficiency of policies, legislations, the regulations, and the standards environment is conducive to the overall development of your ambitions, but also in enhancing the entire system to be more accessible, to be more enabling to the business world. Equally important is the important role that you play by your engagement in the aspects of the entire capacities of development of markets, and in particular new markets, for example, the bioeconomy market or the technology market. In all of this, a systematic approach will be needed. And I believe that as you invent and as you aspire to achieve great progress and success in the chosen areas, then you'll need to partner with the public sector through associations, through collective leadership, to promote an inclusive sense to policy design, legislation, the regulatory environment, the important role that you'll have in standards creation, or the facilitative actions which include infrastructure, the ability to find ways in which you're able to coordinate better between the public sector and the private sector. The definition and the ability to develop new areas of skill and competencies, all of this will make a profound impact in the way we're able to create the necessary market systems that incentivize your participation. And I'm hoping, ladies and gentlemen, that this indeed is very exciting, that within this context you have every capacity now, together with your community at Maastricht School of Management, to look at issues with respect to broad-based capacities of policies, legislations, regulations, defining the business ecosystem, or the markets that are unique and new to the endeavors that you have. And the ability to find ways in which you can penetrate new areas like the bioeconomy area, as well as the areas of technology and innovation, are absolutely critical. From my perspective, the East African community is a very exciting endeavor. 170 million people, 6 partner states. East Africa is rich with minerals and a wealth with respect to its natural resource, its people. But its diversity of environment, social aspects, and the economy make it a very attractive location. Some of you may decide to set up business capacities within the continent of Africa, with approximately 1.2 billion people and almost a $6.7 trillion consumerism, but increasingly the frontier for innovation to unique challenges and issues in a broad spectrum of areas. And indeed, this will be exciting for you to be able to find ways in which you can create sustainable businesses, but address collectively issues of environment, social challenges, and economic challenges. I welcome you all to these possibilities, and indeed to further enrich what you already have gained within the context of your education at Maastricht and your foundations prior to that. Ladies and gentlemen, I close by thanking you very much. Indeed, it's been an honor to address you today and to wish you the very best in life. And I know and I'm confident that within each one of you, you will have the great potential of achieving great success. And indeed, the community of Maastricht School of Management will create all the possibilities with respect to creating and finding ways in which they support you in your journey. I thank you, and I wish you a good day.
Well, thank you to Dr. Desai, and it's a challenge to deliver such inspiring words to a camera instead of him being able to actually be here and deliver it in person. So we appreciate his meaningful words, and I take away one important thing from that. There's many good points in there, but remember that MSM is a bridge between the Netherlands, Europe, and the fast-growing parts of the world. And it's a two-way bridge. We're not just here to encourage people to come from other parts of the world to study in the Netherlands, but we also want to see it as a bridge for you all to go out and explore other parts of the world. So you have a standing invitation there from the East African community to go and find opportunities. That's where the growth is. That's where impact can be made, and we're training you for such impact. Now, our next speaker that we have with us, which again sends regrets that she cannot be here with us in person, a little bit closer to home, but also is especially important for us and important for our future of MSM. Our next speaker since November 1st of 2021, so actually just for the last month and a half, is the Professor Rian Lechert, is the President and Rector Magnificus of Maastricht University. Now, Professor Lechert studied Dutch law and international law at Tilburg University, the University of Amsterdam, and the University of Montpellier, I believe that's in France, and received her PhD in 2005. Her research focuses on the impact of international tribunals on societies and people who are confronted with serious violations of human rights and international crimes. She's a member of the supervisory board of the Catharina Hospital in Eindhoven and the Bonafante Museum right here in Maastricht. She's also a member of the Board of Trustees of Redress the Netherlands. She's also a member of the National Growth Fund. In 2019, she was awarded the title of Top Woman of the Year in the Netherlands. One of her main tasks as the administrative leader of a national program of the Association of Universities in the Netherlands is to implement the position paper, Room for Everyone's Talent. She's not only applying this in Maastricht, but through the entire university sector. We're honored to have her here in Maastricht as the Rector Magnificus at Maastricht University, and here are some words from her.
Dear all, it's my pleasure to say a few words at the occasion of your graduation. At the moment, I happen to fulfill 2 of the 3 roles in the Maastricht University Executive Board, so speaking about inclusive leadership, that's very easy for me. But no, on a more serious note, I want to share with you some of the things I've learned in my work and life so far that I hope will inspire you for your future, that you're all about to shape. First, I will tell you very briefly about my own career path. I had some experience with leading a research institute in Tilburg before I came to Maastricht to become the Netherlands' youngest female rector magnificus in history. This is the person in the university's executive board who is responsible for education and research. And if you look at the portraits of my predecessors in the executive building where I work, you see that even at the youngest university of the Netherlands, until that point in time, only somewhat older, grey-haired men had been asked for this position. Now, I presented myself to the academic community as the Rector of Diversity. And ever since, I've made it very clear that as well in terms of gender as in nationality or sexual preference or whatever criteria you can think of, increasing diversity at all levels of our organization is a top priority for me. Now, so what I've learned so far on leadership, I'm learning every day. Since the end of the year is coming very close, a time in which we see a lot of top 3 lists, I thought it would be nice to present my tips to you as Rihanna's top 3 for inclusive leadership. So here we go. On the 3rd place is investing in personal development. Now, every day I see how careers don't depend on knowledge or diplomas alone. Most highly educated people 10 years after graduating work in a job that doesn't have a direct link to their degree. More important is your personality, your values on how you treat people. And of course you can develop yourself in many ways, but to my opinion, meeting people, talking to them, and even more important, listening is the best way to develop your so-called soft skills, which were also in my career a major factor to be selected for new challenges. That leads to place number 2, having an open mind. I've never dreamt of becoming a member of a university's executive board 16 years after my graduation. In fact, I didn't have a plan at all for my career. My motto was and is follow your heart with an open mind. That also means accepting opportunities, also if they're slightly out of your comfort zone. And this open mind includes being open about your mistakes and staying curious. Nobody's perfect, so why should a president of a university be? Sincere curiosity is not only a good starting point for a conversation in a pub, but also on the work floor. It's one of the key traits that distinguish good management from bad, if you ask me. And finally, on the first place is admitting your own bias. A great deal of academic research has shown that all people, subconsciously include and exclude others because they do or don't fit into the same box. By the same token, we also automatically ascribe women lesser leadership qualities than men, and women are equally guilty of this. We all suffer to a greater or lesser degree from implicit bias. Me too. And having the courage to recognize this will bring us a step closer to becoming more diverse and inclusive organizations. Because we are all in charge of our own actions. We can only move towards a more diverse and inclusive organization if responsible professionals, and that means all of us, recognize their biases for what they are and take steps to correct them. I conclude with big congratulations on obtaining your degree, and I wish you all the luck for your future. Who knows, maybe we'll share a board together someday, and I definitely would be looking forward to that. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you again for those kind and inspiring words, Dr. Lechert. So after two of our important guest speakers, we now come to the part of the afternoon of the handing over of the degrees. This nice pile of wonderful documents sitting here next to me. So, candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Management and Master of Business Administration, please rise. For both the MM and MBA, that includes the Executive MBA. You guys also have an MBA. So all our candidates for our Masters in Management and the MBA, please rise. For our students around the world from our global programs, you're welcome to rise too. Having completed the studies and satisfied the requirements specified by the Management Board of the Maastricht School of Management, each of you is now admitted to the degree Master, conferring upon you all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities of that degree. You can now move the tassel to the right side of your cap. You may now be seated. Now I will dismiss myself from the stage and invite your wonderful staff to come for the next important part of today's ceremony. Ms. Jukens, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Oliver. So today is the day that marks the end of your master's studies. A year full of challenges, not just challenges within your academic program, like demanding classes, projects, and let's not forget the thesis, but also the challenge to adapt to the constant changes of the COVID measures and regulations. All of you took on these challenges and adapted to the changing situations in the best way possible. You needed more self-discipline and motivation than ever before to take all the classes from home, but you made it through. And you should be very, very proud of this. These tough times also led to becoming very close to your fellow classmates, so we're very happy to see that you're able to celebrate this day together. So today is the day that you will receive your diploma, and I would like to start with the awarding of the Master of Arts in Management degrees. Therefore, I would like to invite the academic coordinator of the MM program, Dr. Aad van Maurik, onto the stage. So we start with Thomas Schreiber from Belgium, and Thomas graduated with distinction. Then, in absentia, Tainara Monteiro Condograna from Brazil. Also in absentia, Rana Abdelhamid from Egypt, and Rana graduated with distinction. From India, Kaustup Raghu Ram. In absentia, Mona Lisa Ya from India. From India, Noel Joseph. From India, Ritu Sen. Sri Hari Taripati from India. This year's class representative, Angela Atala from Indonesia. Ivan Kurniawan from Indonesia. In absentia, Prema Ananda Vidyana Nurseta from Indonesia. In absentia, Siti Nadira from Indonesia. From Indonesia, Sharif Kwayum Swipe. From Indonesia, Tiffany Audrey Silanu. With distinction, Joy Ndirangu from Kenya. Jorge Arroyo Villarreal from Mexico. From the Netherlands, Laura Geven, and Laura graduated with distinction. Babatunde James Udukoya from Nigeria. Farzana Rimi from Oman. From Russia, Anna Charnova. Nihal Hamad from Sudan. From Spain, Laura Sesma. Oh, and Laura graduated with distinction. Tumaini Mokoko from Tanzania. Emre Yarligan from Turkey. With distinction, Olivia Bulyaba Kawuma from Uganda. A very big congratulations to all MM students. I wish you all the best in your future careers, also in your personal lives, and please do not forget to stay in touch. Thank you very much, Dr. Van Maurik. We will proceed with the Master of Business Administration degrees. So may I invite Dr. Stewart Dixon, Academic Coordinator of the MBA programs, onto the stage for the awarding of the MBA degrees. My colleague Karen Tromp will continue with the MBA graduates.
Thank you, Maud. Dear students, and hi to everybody who's watching the live stream. Students, you're sitting here because you did an amazing job. Because completing an MBA, whether it is in 1 year, a full-time MBA, or in 2 years for the online and the executive MBA, it is a great achievement. You can sit down, I think, the MM students, yeah. But doing this during the COVID-19 crisis is an incredible achievement, I think. We started this year hoping that things would get better, that things would get back to normal. Most of you were traveling, some of you were traveling to Maastricht, leaving home and friends and family behind, hoping that at a certain point you will get to see each other, meet your fellow students, but no. Unfortunately, we had to start the year online. The corona measures were extended and extended and extended again. So we had to continue in Zoom until somewhere in May. You finally could have 1 day a week of lectures face-to-face. And I vividly remember that day in May somewhere where the MBA 37 group had their first day on campus. And everybody was so excited, including me. I think that was the best day of the year, except for this one, of course. But still, the past 2 years or 1 year has turned out to be so much different from what you expected. But despite the difficulties and all the hurdles that you had to take, you made it. You did it, and that is an achievement to be proud of. Dear full-time, executive, and online students, I admire you for your perseverance and resilience, and for not giving up when things get tough. So, let's start awarding these degrees. We start with a student from the full-time MBA 36 from last year. She graduated last year, but unfortunately last year we couldn't have a ceremony such as this. The class representative, Ms. Harinya Yadav from India. We continue with the full-time MBA 37 students, Ms. Bashka Chakraborty from India. Next one is Mana Swain from India. He graduated with distinction. Next from Peru, Ms. Maria Fe Aguilar. From Turkey, Serpil Meto. Next one, Ms. Charmaine Mafa from Africa, South Africa. She couldn't be here, but I'm sure that she's watching online. Hi Charmaine. And she graduated with distinction. Next one is the class representative from this group. He graduated with distinction as well. Great job. Clinton van der Schijf from South Africa. We now continue with the awarding of the degrees of the Executive MBA program. And I would like to invite Executive MBAs to come to the stage. First one with distinction, Mr. Matteo Damas from Italy. Next, Mr. Constantine de Vries from the Netherlands. Mr. Tom Houtgraaf from the Netherlands. Ms. Chen Liu from China. Ms. Evelyn van der Laak from the Netherlands. Ms. Thi Tran from Vietnam. Ms. Olga Mikhailenko from Ukraine. She graduated with distinction. Mr. Mohamed Taha from Egypt. Ms. Fatima Mohammed Kauser from India. Mr. Davide Tuzzi from Italy. Ms. Yvonne van der Merendonk from the Netherlands. And Ms. Tamari Tewes from Sweden. The following students graduated also from the Executive MBA program, but unfortunately could not be here today, but I'm sure that they're watching the live stream. That is Mr. Noor Aldin Maybar from Syria, Mr. Burak Koparan from Turkey, Mr. Jim van Hulst from the Netherlands, Mr. Rustam Rafikov from Russia, and Ms. Katerina Prokhorova from Germany. We now continue with the awarding of the degrees of the online MBA program. We have 2 graduates here, and that is first one, Winnie Chelimo from Kenya, and Ms. Hiba Jawadi from Tunisia. Congratulations to all of you and also to those who are not here. We now continue with Oliver. Thank you, Maud and Stewart. Oliver, the floor is back. Is yours.
Congratulations to all of you, and it was a nice walk down memory lane watching each of you walk up on the stage, and I'm thinking of, okay, well, what paper did they write? What topic did what grades did I give them? Aha, that's the face that goes with that one. Now, I'm actually not going to lie, I'm a bit disappointed that I'm the one having to deliver this next section. This is a part of the graduation that is one of the most thrilling every year. This is usually when our partner students from around the world are lined up, where we see our students from China, or our students from Kuwait, or our students from Egypt, or our students from Vietnam. And I'm sad that this is one of the first years that due to COVID, we don't have them lined up here. And usually we have another one of our officers up here having fun with all the names, reading off these names from around the world. We're not going to get that experience today, but we do want to honor and remember those of our graduates around the world. And we do have a lot. We continue to be proud of our global program, our global partners. Now, instead of them being here in person, what we do is we're going to have a PowerPoint slideshow with all their names. Now, unfortunate for your entertainment purposes, I'm not going to read those names. We will watch them together. But for those of you whose names are listed that are joining us from around the world, again, all of us here at MSM, our staff, our faculty, are very sad that you weren't able to be here with us in person. But you all have an open invitation to come see us, come visit us anytime in the future. Join us at another graduation. Now, you won't be able to graduate again. You've already graduating today in this important moment, but we would love to have you join us, any of you, in the future. With that being said, we'll start the PowerPoint presentation. Our first graduates listed are from our partner in China. China, one of our most respected, longest-standing partners at Nanjing University, the Nanjing University Business School. We have graduates from various intakes represented on the slides you're seeing here. Congratulations to our students graduating from Nanjing. The next partner represented is one of our newer partners in Hungary, a cooperation between Corvinus University, one of the most respected business schools in Budapest, MSM, and SEED, the educational institution that partners with MSM. These are our graduates from the Executive MBA Intake 3, which again is an impressive list of students. The next one is our long-standing partner in Vietnam, the School of Industrial Management. Here you see the list of graduates from our Executive MBA, intakes 20 and 21. Next, we will do from Yemen. We'll do all our congratulations at the end so we get the slide timing. Our next is our Yemen, our partner at Sana'a University. These are graduates from the Center of Business Administration, the Executive MBA intakes 5 and 7. Next, we have Azerbaijan, one of our partners we've had for almost a decade, at ADA University, the premier university, especially now the premier management school in Azerbaijan. This is for intakes from their full-time 1 and 2 in Baku, Azerbaijan. The next, Suriname, at the Hans Limapo Institute for Higher Education, FHR, we have MBA intakes 12, 13, and 14 represented here. Next, a school that I'm especially proud of, the school I helped found 11 years ago, which has changed its name recently from Maastricht School of Management Romania to BISM, Bucharest International School of Management. We have intakes from students from several intakes. We have here Kuwait, MSM Kuwait. These are MBA program graduates from intakes 2 through 6. There are a lot of graduates. They start about 2 cohorts per year, and so this represents almost 3 years of students graduating from MSM Kuwait. The next slides are from Egypt, our partner Regional IT Institute in Cairo, Egypt. These are our executive MBA. These are graduates from intakes 69 through 75. You can tell through those numbers, we've had a long partnership with them, a lot of alumni represented there. Next, we have again one of our newer partners. This is the Mahan Business School in Tehran, Iran. We started this up immediately after the sanctions were listed a few years ago. Unfortunately, I never got a chance to visit them, but this is our executive MBA graduates from the first intakes 1 and 2. So congratulations to them. And then the final one is a relaunch of our partner in Mongolia a few years ago. This is MBA Intake 3 from the Mongolian Business Development Institute, Executive Intake 3. So now congratulations to all of them. We hope to see as many of you in person as possible once travel restrictions, we find our new normal. You're always going to be welcome here at MSM. Now, another change is this is where we would normally award the Student of the Years. That's not going to happen today, but let me give a brief explanation. COVID not only changed your classroom schedule, it changed a little bit MSM schedule. We're having graduation here in December. Normally this would be taking place in September. As many of you have experienced yourself, but more as an explanation for those that are watching us online, normally our programs will start, especially for our full-time programs, once a year in September, October, and go for a year. Back almost 2 years ago now, we had to make a decision because some students wanted to come here, but they couldn't, either because the Dutch embassies were closed, nobody could get a visa, or because people wanted to wait and see if maybe the COVID restrictions would lift. So we started 2 intakes in the last year. We started one in September, we started another one in January. And so we have students then throughout COVID that have, for various reasons, either travel, for health, for safety, have missed classes or paused or delayed. So we have many of your cohorts that have chosen to extend their studies and will be graduating, many of them doing their thesis defenses in January and February. So to give the awards a fair meaning, many of your cohort and classmates are not included in the graduation yet. And so the plan is next spring, hopefully around April, we will be having yet another graduation ceremony for more of the students who will be graduating. At that time, we will then award the Students of the Year for each of your cohorts, of which all of you will also be concluded in that consideration. So hopefully we will see some of you back here on stage for the awarding of the Students of the Year. But we will be looking forward to next April, and you'll have more information about the award. You're welcome to attend the ceremony, but then you'll be attending as alumni. Hopefully get called on stage. Now, that brings us to one part of the ceremony that fortunately we are keeping the same, and that is an alumni speaker. Now, once again, it's on video, but MSM is very proud of our alumni. And even though we may be smaller than some schools out there that you've seen, we find that our impact is outsized. Even on our new logo here, you can see local star shining bright. This always reminds me of the astronomical story, that some of the most powerful forces in the universe aren't the biggest forces in the universe. Power is not dependent upon the size. Power is dependent upon the impact that you make. And we see on and on that MSM students make some of the biggest impact of any university graduates around the world. And here, our speaker today is an example of that. Our alumni speaker today is Ms. Hoda Mansour. She is the SAP Head of Business Processes, the global software as a service company, SAP. She's the Head of Business Process Intelligence for EMEA South. Hoda worked for leading multinational software companies, including SAP, Oracle, and Microsoft, in regional and global capacities, where she lived and worked in 3 different continents, Europe, Asia, and Africa. Hoda joined SAP in Dubai in 2013, where she held various positions, last of which was the Managing Director for SAP Egypt and Frontier Countries, before being promoted in September of 2021, just a few months ago, as the Head of Business Process Intelligence for Southern Europe, Middle East, and Africa, a region that covers 75 countries. Given her impact in transforming SAP business, Forbes acknowledged her leadership by recognizing her as one of Forbes' top 50 power businesswomen for 2021, which was on the back of the previous selection by Forbes as one of the top 100 power businesswomen in the Middle East in 2020, and Forbes' top 100 most influential women in the Middle East for 2018. Hoda is a board member of the American Chamber of Commerce since June of 2021, so 2021's been busy for her, and the elected vice president and board member of the German Arab Chamber of Industry and Commerce since September 2020. Hoda holds a BSc with distinction and honors in engineering from Alexandria University, in addition to an MSM MBA with distinction, and we're very proud to call her alumni, and we now have a short video from Hoda.
Dear colleagues, I'm really honored to have the privilege of addressing you today. I have to say, I was delighted when I was contacted by Maastricht School of Management to deliver a speech on this important day of your graduation, which coincides with the 70th anniversary of MSM. Congratulations on completing the journey that brought you to this special ceremony. I would like to take the opportunity first to introduce myself. My name is Hoda Mansour, and I work as the Head of Business Process Intelligence at SAP. I cover a vast region of EMEA South, which covers 75 countries. In these countries, we have around 80 different nationalities of employees. And we have the most diverse region on the planet, which comes with a lot of interesting opportunities for all of us. I'm a person who gets fascinated with diversity, inclusion, and mindset that would allow people to grow. I would like to mention that the initial plan for me was actually to be with you here at MSM and to deliver this speech to you in person. However, after completing all the arrangements, we had to cancel my travel plans due to COVID. Despite of that, I was really keen to record this video and to speak to you even virtually. I have to say that even thinking of the graduation day and the sense of achievement, happiness, and fulfillment that this occasion brings is extremely positive. It's been quite a while since I was sitting in your seats. I was recalling a couple of days ago with a colleague of mine my experience of studying at MSM. And despite it being a long time ago, the picture was really vivid in my mind. I recall the lectures, my professors, my colleagues, and our assignments. The whole learning experience was impactful, and for sure, it shaped the way I'm thinking. I recall exactly how I described this MBA and its impact on my way of thinking to my colleague. I told him clearly, this experience completely stretched my mind. And I totally mean that. I completed my MBA despite not being recommended at a very early stage of my career and almost immediately after my graduation. This MBA totally shaped my way of thinking and added another dimension to the way I think and take decisions. Reflecting on that, if I would go back in time, I would certainly do my MBA, and I have done one more thing differently, which is basically complete my DBA studies that I've started and was almost done with it. However, I dropped it in the last few weeks of my studies. I confess that this was a mistake. However, I intend to go back and see if there is any possibility for me to complete that journey. I want to reflect on the qualities that I've learned from my study at MSM. I want to encourage you to be empathetic, to be multipliers in every aspect of work and life, and to create and leave a long-lasting impact behind you, to be change agents and an icon going above and beyond in this very busy world, to create a positive impact for your families, for your colleagues, and for the environment around you. Dear colleagues, I would have really loved to be with you today. I still intend to visit MSM as soon as COVID permits. I wish you a great day full of happiness and celebrations and a great future ahead. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and enjoy this very special day. All the best.
Thank you, Hoda. I can assume that you're watching us now, and we thank you for those very kind words, and we will take you up on that offer to come visit us as soon as possible. Now, I do have some good news. In addition to our distance speeches, we are going to get some speeches today in person, namely from our class reps. One of the best parts of the graduation is where we get to hear from you about what your impressions were, and you can talk directly to your classmates. So we will start with the class rep from the Master of Management. Please come to the stage, Miss Angela Atela, our new alumni.
Good afternoon, MSM management staff, lecturers, and all MSM graduates. Also, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for our loved ones whom we wish were here with us today, but who are joining online. My name is Angela Atela. I'm from Indonesia, and it is my honor today to be standing here in front of you to represent the amazing class of MM8. Wow, what a year. I believe today is the celebration of our hard work, efforts, and friendships. For the past year, I've witnessed so many personal and professional growth, especially amongst my classmates who were very talented and never stopped amazing me even when they didn't know it themselves. Most importantly, I feel that strangers have become friends, and friends have become family. We have gone through so much, and we would have not made it without the tremendous support from our surroundings. Parents and family, thank you for believing in us, even when we were this close to give up. Lecturers, thank you for all the knowledge and for going the extra mile to prepare us for our next chapter. To all MSM staff who always did their best so we can have the amazing experience of learning and exploring ourselves academically, personally, and professionally. Thank you. And to our close friends, thank you for keeping us sane during our crazy evenings. You rock. Dear friends, we all made it. Could I ask you for right now, and to wake you up as well, take 5 seconds to look around you and say to someone next to you, you made it. Thank you. If you had those sleepless nights, trying so hard to finish your assignments and your thesis, you made it. I see you. if you spend every day at the library preparing yourself for your presentations, you made it. I see you. On those days when you only had the energy to open your laptop, laying on your bed to finish your assignments, you made it. I see you. Even if right now you are in between everything, trying to figure out your life, you made it. I see you. And I am proud of you. This is just the beginning. Your adventures await the moment you step out of this building. One day, some of us are going to be entrepreneurs, engineers, consultants. Someone is going to improve the education system. Someone is going to continue their family business. Someone is going to innovate the fashion world. Someone is going to be in charge for sustainability. And some of us are going to travel the world, and who knows what happens next. Whatever journey you're going to take, I hope you will never forget how capable you are. I hope you will take the risk and just go for it. I hope you will keep going and not give up, because the truth is, you're getting there. Take this with you. If you don't try, you are 100% failing. However, if you do try, you have at least 50% chance of making the best out of it and accomplishing something great. While you're busy chasing your dreams, remember to slow down once in a while, my friend. The scenery along the way is pretty amazing too. The present is all you ever have. Appreciate it and take it with you till you make it to the top. Now, go and start your adventure. Couple years from now, if our paths cross again, I can't wait to hear your story over a nice cup of coffee, or maybe lunch or dinner. I wish you success and happiness. Thank you for the moments we've created together. Make sure not to forget them, because one thing I know for sure, I won't. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. And regarding that speech, you made it. I see you. Good job. So, our next class representative from the full-time MBA program. We now welcome to the stage our recent alumni with distinction, as I heard correctly, Mr. Clinton van der Schijf from South Africa.
Good morning, good afternoon. I would like to begin by recognizing our parents, our families, our loved ones, everybody who unfortunately cannot be here today to celebrate with us, but who are, as always, cheering us on from wherever they are. Our lecturers for imparting their wisdom, and of course all the faculty and staff who we have witnessed firsthand display their resilience amidst these unprecedented times. On behalf of us, the graduates of 2021, thank you all for being part of our journey, for being our foundation of support and our support system. Okay. To the fellow graduates, congratulations to all of you. We have finally achieved the culmination of our postgraduate journey. The past months have certainly been challenging and unforgiving. If there are things that we can take away from this journey, remember that hardship, struggles, late nights, sacrifices, all of these have led to this point of celebration and rejoice. Yeah, you see, just like every flower, every plant, every grass, or every tree started from a seed, we too have undergone a metamorphosis. A seed is planted into the soil, a place of darkness, difficulty, and of no sunlight. And with time, amidst difficult circumstances, the seed germinates and transforms into a seedling that breaks the surface of the soil. The seedling faces many seasons. There are lovely warm, sunny days to grow in. And of course, there are those dark and gloomy days to grow in. However, the seedling endures every day of every season of its life. Eventually, the seedling fulfills its purpose and becomes the plant, the flower, or the tree that it has been destined to become. As an international student, much like almost everybody in this room, we have all made the exciting yet challenging decision to pursue an education outside of our home countries, for whatever reason that might have been. We had to sacrifice being away from our beloved families, our friends, familiar situations, and to prepare ourselves better to pursue our dreams. We have endured a global pandemic throughout the recent academic years and faced many learnings and situations. I still remember when MSM announced that we will have online classes. There were ongoing questions of how will this work? Will we be able to focus, or will we get a refund? We've gone from classrooms to bedrooms, from corporate wear to pajamas, and from excursions to breakout rooms. Just like the seed became a seedling, or the seedling became a tree, we too have endured the uncertainties around us and another season in our lives. We do not know what the next season might bring us, but we can rejoice and celebrate that we have survived and flourished up until now. We have already started preparing for the next season that we might face, be it through our academic achievements, the lessons of enduring, or the growth throughout our lives. Our roots continue to grow deeper and keep us steady as we face the upcoming seasons. Some of us might be ready to produce fruit. Some have extended their branches. And some have undergone a complete metamorphosis for the next stage in their lives. Whatever it is that you have experienced, may you have the peace of mind and the confidence to know that you can endure and that you have a purpose to fulfill. We are graduating amid a global pandemic. To the graduates of 2021, here before me and behind the screens, I have shared with you our story and the circumstances that we might face in the future. May we all continue to conquer our battles, be it within us or among us. Thank you.
Thank you, Clinton, for those inspiring words. I like the analogy of a tree, because a tree not only grows strong, it provides in so many ways. You said it provides fruit that people can help from, but the most important thing that trees provide is oxygen for the rest of us to survive. And so the more of you that are out there with this education and growing, the more the rest of us around us also benefit from that. This education is not just for you. So thank you for the great analogy, Clinton, and congratulations to all of you. Our next student representative speaker is going to be from our executive MBA, which is also an MBA program, but for those that have a busier schedule. You thought your schedule was busy as full-time students? Imagine juggling a career and family and along with your studies on the weekends and evenings over time. So I want to welcome our class representative, Evelyn van der Lach.
So just when I thought graduation would mean that I would finally be done trying to write quality material just a few days before the deadline, one of my classmates suggested that I be the one to write this speech. Here we go again. Now, in all fairness though, this time it wasn't my instant gratification monkey that caused me to lead the panic monster to step up. Now, if you guys don't get that reference, I highly suggest that you watch Tim Urban's TED Talk on procrastination, because it'll give you a lot of insight to how you passed the past couple of years of your MBA or EMBA or Master in Management probably as well. So anyway, I was incredibly motivated to write a speech, and I thought, okay, it's going to be witty, it's going to be intelligent, it's going to be touching, a little bit of personal stuff in there, and obviously inspiring. However, given the short deadline, you guys are just going to have to put up with this. Now, I have a master's degree in physiotherapy, but I very quickly felt that the scope was too limited to continue to challenge me in that field. So I got a job at an international health insurance company where I managed an organic growth, and I got to the point where I was a member of the senior management team. I had direct reports in 3 hubs across the globe. My colleagues had all obtained very serious degrees in business, economics, political science, etc. So I always felt kind of like the odd one out because I had a physiotherapy degree. And so I decided I wanted to solidify and build upon the knowledge I had built over the years by obtaining an MBA degree. So I met with my HR director while I was pregnant with my second child, and I asked her, what are the chances that the company would, sponsor me for an MBA degree? And she said there were some possibilities, but did I think I would be able to take that on, knowing that I would soon have a second child? So I asked her, did you see a decrease in my performance or in my dedication to my work after I had my first child? And she acknowledged that no, she hadn't. Then I asked her, would you ask a man that same question if you knew that their partner was pregnant with a second child as well? There was a bit of an awkward pause there. But then she said, well, I have 2 kids of my own, so I know how challenging it can be to balance or have a good work-life balance in that situation. So I stopped working for that company when my second child was 5 months old, and I started my MBA process when he was 9 months old. During the first couple of on-site modules, I would express my milk for him during my breaks, and I actually did so in the room where these graduation gowns are stored. And so every break I was that much more motivated to one day wear this gown on this stage, or the other stage that we usually would have had. But anyway, here we are now today. I am wearing this gown, and so are all of you with me. Now, of course, every EMBA student's story is different. We come from various cultural backgrounds, we have different education, even different education levels, and we work in different fields. The ages even, they range from people who are just starting out their career to people who are almost nearing retirement age in a few years. But the one thing we all have in common is this incredible drive for lifelong learning. Now, I shared a bit of my story with you because I think that despite our very different experiences, there are a couple of key takeaways that I feel apply to everyone. So number 1, don't worry too much about who you are as compared to others. Yes, I was the only physiotherapist in our SMT, but how happy and surprised was I when I spoke to Hermina during my intake interview to find out I wasn't even the first PT to start the EMBA program. Number 2, as for my HR director warning me about trying to obtain an MBA degree in combination with young children, you should always do what you feel is right for you and what makes you happy. No matter what others tell you, even if they say you can't do it or they think you're crazy, walk your own path. And number 3, treasure context from this program. I've met some amazing people here, and it's such a great way to learn when you get to share experiences with others who come from different backgrounds or different industries. And I know that I, for one, am walking away with not only an MBA diploma and a really valuable network, but also some really, really good friends. Now, I'd like to wrap this up by first off thanking the Msm staff for their support throughout our journey. You are, all of you, golden, each and every one of you. I want to obviously also congratulate each and every one of my fellow classmates for getting to this point, and thank you for the opportunity to have been able to travel on this journey with you. And last but not least, I wish all the graduates here good luck on whatever their next adventure may be, whether it be considered a crazy one or not. You do you. Thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn. Excellent advice, and enjoy having a little bit more time to yourself. But having worked in this industry now for more than 16 years and seen graduates from executive programs that have schedules like you and families like you, you'll find that in about 2 months, you'll be saying, don't I have a module coming up? Oh man, no, I got nothing. And you'll find that you'll be calling your classmates saying, maybe we should at least get together and do something. I have this time in my brain allocated to spending a week studying. Let's get back to it. So welcome to our alumni, Evelyn, and thank you for those great words. We have one more, and this is our EMB representative from our online program. This is especially exciting because our online program is our newest program, which has been very successful with some amazing students going through that. But unlike most of you that got used to seeing each other in person, many of the online people have never seen each other in person, and they look forward to graduation day, which makes this COVID-19 regulations even more disappointing because many of them looking forward to meeting each other in person at the ceremonies today. But again, all of you watching online, you are all welcome here at any time. But for our final graduate speech, we have here from Kenya, Ms. Winnie Chelimo. Please come to the stage.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to those joining us virtually. My name is Winnie. As you've heard, I am from Kenya. I've been attending the online MBA program since 2019. So different from most of you who started the online journey after COVID, we started it way before. And we haven't seen each other like in person, and today is the first time I actually see my colleague, Hiba. She's sitting right there. And it's fantastic. We feel great to have this degree finally after a long journey. And so I'll start my speech. So I consider it an honor to stand here before you to represent the online MBA class of 2021. I'd like to say first to every one of you, congratulations. We made it, like the previous people have said. It's been a turbulent year, this year and the last year, and finally we are here. We are wearing our caps and gowns, and we are ready to forge ahead in the future. I remember when I first had this dream of starting the MBA, I work full-time, so I was trying to research and find possible institutions where I could register and do an MBA program. And as I was searching, actually, I came across MSM, and some things struck me about MSM particularly. They have some core values such as ethical conduct, integrity, and diversity, which actually pulled me to register in this institution. And within the classroom setting, the online classroom setting, we had intellectually stimulating and exciting classes which upheld this ethical conduct in terms of integrity and transparency and just interactions among each other where we learned so much from each other as colleagues and also from our professors. I would say also that the MSM staff support was much appreciated. Sometimes as an online student, there are issues with the Moodle and you have to write to them during the weekend or late evenings after work. And we always got responses on time. So for this, actually it was great these past 2 years. And so today, a journey that began 2 years ago comes to an end, but sometimes the end is also the beginning. So I wish you all the very best as you forge ahead in the future. I hope you will all realize the beauty of your dreams. And I wish to leave you with a quote from Nelson Mandela, which says actually, education is the most important weapon we can use to change the world. And as you all know, now we are facing a fast-paced global world, and we all need to use the knowledge we've gotten from MSM to be able to forge ahead and change the world, and we can all do it if we made it today. So I wish you all the best and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie. Great to have our first student representative of the online MBA graduation speaking, and we hope to see many of you, more of you in the future. We're actually quite honored for the online MBA students. Just a side note, many of you who chose a full-time program did choose it also because you were attracted by our ethics and our diversity and our design, but some of you chose it because maybe logistically, if you're an executive MBA, maybe you live in the Netherlands or live nearby, or maybe if it's a full-time program, maybe you have a sibling or somebody you respect recommended the location, or you know somebody near here. The online MBA students, just imagine that. If you're going to study online, you can choose anywhere in the world. It's online. And those that have chosen us, that had no limitations, we're especially honored that you've chosen us, and we hope we've lived up to your expectations, and it will continue to live up to the expectations of future online MBA students, as well as to the full-time and executive students. So thank you again for those kind words, Winnie. Well, that brings us back to the part where I get to give the speeches about housekeeping, and we get ready for our final words from our final speaker. So we've almost come to the end of the ceremony, and I want to congratulate all of you again. Thank you for the alumni speakers. Remember, as alumni, you're now invited, if you haven't done so already, to log into msmnetworker.com. That's your official limited networking space, only for alumni, to keep up with each other. And we invite our graduates afterwards for a small gathering, as I've said, in the MSM restaurant, where we kindly ask you to put on your face mask as you get up and walk to the conference hall, leave the conference hall. So for our final words, I'd like to invite to the stage Dr. Stewart Dixon, but first I'd like to give a brief bio of Dr. Dixon. So, if it's okay if I call you Stewart, having worked with you for many years, is the Director of Academics and the Academic Coordinator of our MBA programs at MSM. He completed his PhD at the European University Institute in Florence, Italy, where he specialized in international economics. Any of you who've had a strategy class may be surprised at economics, very diverse. He's also the director of the Euro MBA program, a blended learning MBA program, which is hosted by Maastricht universities and several other universities. And he's also a senior lecturer at Maastricht University School of Business and Economics. Before working with MSM, he was the director of the bachelor's programs at Maastricht University School of Business and Economics, as well as being the academic coordinator of the Maastricht MBA at Maastricht University. He currently teaches courses in strategic management and industrial economics, but his primary interests are scenario planning and market dynamics. So with that, I will renounce the stage to you one final time, and please bring us home at the end, Stewart.
Hello, everybody. Wow, this is the best part of the ceremony, actually, and I have the best job, I would say, of all who are speaking here today. Because basically we are simply seconds away of celebrating your adventure. And, you know, we've heard from the speeches from everybody, of course, today, what an adventure that's been. Not only is the MBA itself an adventure in your lives, an adventure into learning, but with the whole crisis of COVID, it's really been a completely new adventure, not only in terms of how to live your lives, but how to study. It's also been very challenging for my colleagues and for the colleagues who are out there online. Thank you very much for adapting. I think it was an amazing thing how everybody managed to change the way of working, change the way of thinking and learning very, very quickly to get us into the online environment, into the Zoom environment, let's say, and to use that as effectively as possible. But of course, it's also just so nice to see people back into the classroom and to see them face to face finally. What I would say is what always surprised me actually is that when you see people in the flesh, I realize they're much taller than they were on the screen. And that's a very sort of a surprising comment I always have. Oh, it's you. So, unfortunately, we can't kiss, hug, shake hands. So it is also a rather unusual event that we have today. As you can see, you're all spread out here, and your loved ones, I'm afraid, couldn't attend. But there's one thing to keep in mind. You've been through a very, very tough year. But when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And you guys are tough. And I think keep that in mind. Don't forget it. You rose to the challenge and you made it. And that is very unique, I think. And it makes you all very unique during these very difficult times. So I know that your futures are going to be bright and successful. And it's just a matter of time now for you to think about which horizons, which new let's say, conquests do you have ahead of you? What do you want to take on? And where in the world will you be next? But that's all the exciting stuff for next year. But for now, of course, I'd like to close the ceremony. And I think you've been briefed on how you have to do this. Sadly, we are not allowed to throw our hats in the air. So I just remind you of that. But we are allowed to hold them in our hands and wave them around rigorously and excitedly. So... So I would like you now to stand up, please. All the graduates standing. I think James is up there, is ready. Yes, are you ready, everybody? standing there, hold on to your hats. So, graduates of 2021, you are dismissed.